Hello, we've been at Wii U. It's been a while since we played that. Hello everyone. This is old Dcubed here from Europe, and here we are today to take a look at some of my levels in Super Mario Maker. With Mario Maker 2 on the way, it seems like a fitting time to come and have a look back at some of the levels I made. So this time we'll start off with some of the normal levels I made, and in the next video we'll have a look at some of the special levels that I made. Now, when I first started making levels, I always had the idea of making a full set of a full Mario game. So that would mean 8 worlds, 4 levels in each. And when I was creating these levels, I had an idea in mind that I wanted to try and make levels that that would be designed for people who are brand new to Mario, people who've never played a Mario game, and people who are new to Mario Maker. So I designed them with beginners in mind. So what better way to show that off when with the first level? So if we have a look here, we have our old faithful friend Goomba. It's very much designed in the kind of similar manner to, I suppose, the first level in Mario Brothers. So here I'm showing the different players how the different block types work. So you've got the hard blocks, the coin blocks, blocks that show you that items come out, blocks that are breakable, blocks that are not breakable, and also showing them that you can find items and sometimes bad things inside. But I always felt to myself I didn't really want to do that same kind of usual trick that a lot of people did, so I never used that again in further levels. Now here I'm teaching the player how to jump higher. So I'm teaching the player that there's different heights that they can jump. Here I ask the player to put that to use, and here I make it so that it's impossible to get past this without having already learnt that. So I'm trying to teach the player how to make use of the skills they've learned. Here we introduce a new enemy, and it's a Koopa. Ho 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 ho! He comes backwards! Ooh. And here again we kind of just take that concept and ratchet it up a notch. And here we introduce the red Koopa, which obviously doesn't walk off the side. And here we then test the player skills by having them jump over the height, trying to teach them the different heights that you can jump, having to avoid a Koopa, and then finally pushing the player to challenge themselves to jump over a hole. Lastly, we finish off this little level here with different pipes. So I teach the player that different things can come out of these pipes, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So we have a good mushroom and a bad mushroom, and sometimes nothing comes out at all. And then finally a little challenge to see if the player remembers that they can jump off an enemy to reach that coin. And that's the basic idea. However, I didn't just design these levels for beginners, I also designed them for veterans as well. So if we go back to this level, I'll show you the path that was meant for veteran players. So here would be a player who they've played Mario before, they know what they're doing. So I wanted to give them a different challenge by having them go through a different part of the level. So if you go up the path, you're rewarded with a propeller's mushroom. And if you can follow that path of coins, you'll bring yourself to the harder part of the level. In here I give the players who know what they're doing a bit of a reward. So then they can get lots of extra lives that way. And you can get even more lives if you can manage to get yourself another Koopa going down this way. So that's what I'm doing here. You can follow it through, hopefully a bit more competently than what I just did just there. And then we've got some little floating platforms to test the player and their abilities to get through, and generally just offer more of a challenge than you would than beginner players would be able to do. Yeah, and then of course we have ourselves a pretty difficult little challenge. Oh, yeah, a bit too hard maybe, but yeah, definitely kiddie gloves are off in that one. But there is another pathway through as well, for those who are perhaps trying to get through the levels as quickly as possible, and for those who definitely know what they're doing. You can actually bypass that bit entirely if you can manage to keep hold of that. Propeller mushroom there. You can actually go above that bit that where the plant plants were before. If you can manage to keep hold of that propeller mushroom, which hopefully I'll be able to do here. Oh, just hop over. Hey, here we go. And this is actually the quickest path for getting through the level here. So if you can go through that, you'll be rewarded... No, not quite. Well, you'll be rewarded with a quick path through the level. Really, that's the basic idea that I had for the whole of my game. Really, I wanted to try and make levels that would appeal to all 3 different types of players. So let's take a look at our second level here, which again it follows the same kind of philosophy here, but from here on I actually introduce the idea of having 3 different one-up mushrooms that are scattered throughout all of these different levels. So it was designed to help reward exploration, and for those who want to try and search for every little nook and cranny and secret hidden surprise. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to in Mario Maker 2 actually, because you can now have star coins that are hidden throughout the level, so you don't need to rely on pretty useless one-ups. You actually get you can actually put in a tangible reward for a change, so I'm really looking forward to making use of that. I can't quite remember where I actually hid the coins in this level, but I'll save you the trouble of having me go and find them. And of course we have our hilarious flying piranha plant separated from the pipe, which I always thought was absolutely... It was a riot. I could not put that one in. Yeah, so that's the second level. Fairly basic really, not too difficult. And now we're going to introduce ourselves a little water level here. This one I follow the same kind of philosophy as before, but I wanted to do something a little bit secret here. See that little mark on the wall? That was a little glitch that I found originally in the original one, but I managed to take advantage of it by turning it into a marker. And for those who've learned what it can do, they find a one up there as well. So here we have a fairly basically designed water level. There's multiple paths that you can follow here. We're going to take the easier route here and go and bypass some of the enemy blockade there. And if we go down here, you'll find yourself a set of coins. Generally with this, I try to think of the aesthetics of this level as well. I wanted to give it a bit more of a naturalistic appearance to make it feel a bit less blocky and a little less artificial. Yeah, okay, we're going to go up and go through a little hidden path. It's blocked by some fire bars, so you need a bit of skill to go through here. And I'm going to show you guys a little secret. I'm going to show you the quick way to get through this level. If you observed it before and noticed that little marker, we can find ourselves a little star. We're going to just plow right through all this, speed right past everything, and we're going to... Oh my god, it's Bowser! Yep, and that was Bowser. And if we can get through here, we found ourselves a secret path. Yeah, I couldn't fit in secret player there. Star had to do. So yeah, this is the quick route. This is the quickest route through the level. So you can only get through this one if you happen to get that star. If you can't get it, there's no way to get past that barrier. So you got to go through the long way. Oh, damn it! I can never hit that top. Yeah, and that's level 3. If you were to follow down through the usual path, you'd find yourself a fairly standard water level, not too challenging. Right, so here's our first castle level. Again, I actually was quite proud of the speedrun path I came up with for this one here, but I'm not going to show that just yet. Oh, that poor Goomba. It does show that lava's deadly, but that was so funny I couldn't help but not put that one in. We also introduced Power Koopas here, another new type of enemy. I generally try to introduce new enemies quite slowly. I wanted to really stick to maybe 1 or 2 new types of enemies per level to try and gradually get players used to it. So this one's a bit more slow paced if you don't know what you're doing. Here I introduced the Spiny and the Buzzy Beetle here. If you're clever, you can make use of it to get past the Spiny here. If I remember right, off to the left you can actually find a one-up mushroom. I remember I used the one of the markings on the floor because I think with the original Mario Maker it used to randomly place scenery as you place blocks, and I remember messing around with that to put a specific little marker on the very left hand side of that to indicate there's something there. Yep, there's a little hidden mushroom for you. If you're observant, you can actually notice that platform underneath. And that block right there is actually, that one's a fire flower, I think, but you can only get it if you come through a small Mario. But of course, if you use the Buzzy Beetle, or damage boost your way through, you can still get through anyway. Now that's one of the hidden one-up mushrooms there. If I remember right, there's a marking on the floor which has a vine that goes up. Right, I'm going to show you guys the intended speedrun path for this level. Now, this is an old recording. I'm nowhere near as good anymore. I couldn't possibly pull this off without hours and hours of practice, but here is an idea of what I had in mind for the quickest route through the level. So, very, very optimized movement, really designed to make use of the momentum you get from those paths. Yes, you are meant to go through that hole. There's no way I could do that again. But yeah, that's an idea of how I kind of designed these levels with a quick path in mind if you really, really knew what you were doing. So yeah, that's world 1. We're going to move on to second world here. We're going to save the bonus levels for the next video. Now, if you noticed with the last one, it was all based around New Super Mario Bros. U. So this time we go back to the original Mario Bros. Here. Again, I wanted to try and keep things still fairly simple because I wanted it to be, well, beatable by anyone who'd never played Mario before. So with all of these levels, at least up to World 4, I always designed these levels to be beatable without running at all. So all of these levels can be beaten without knowing how to press the B button whatsoever. Yeah, so this is a fairly simple pathway up to find a secret area. And I remember, yes, this was actually one of my, I used in place of one of my hidden lives. Instead of actually having a 1-up, I decided to have one of the lives effectively be the 100 coins that you could collect here. That one always ticked Glenn off because he always was looking everywhere for the 1-up and he never realised that was the 1-up. That block there is actually part of the speedrun path. You have to jump right through that. I know, I asked a lot of players back then. But yeah, that's the first level of World 2. Still keeping things fairly simple. I wanted it to be beatable by most people. And yeah, I was quite happy with the win rate of that one. Right. Now, if you look closely at this level, this might look a bit familiar. Yes, very, very familiar. Yeah, that poor little Goomba is still clinging on for dear life. Okay, we're gonna just head our way up here and... Nope! No, you're not going that way. No, you've got to go down this time. But it's still not too challenging. You can get past this bit fairly easily. But really, I felt I wanted to just kind of play with players' expectations a bit. Now, I really like this little amiibo mushroom here because there was a really interesting property about it where you can actually break bricks with it even though you're small. So I wanted to take advantage of that in an interesting, slightly different way. Oh, here's a bit of risk and reward here. And I really like the swimming, flying Goombas. I always thought they were really funny. But yeah, I thought they were quite an interesting type of enemy. We're not going to get that mushroom because we're going to take advantage of our amoeba mushroom and we're going to go this way. And we're going to just follow those coins and away! It's a pipe! We're going to go a secret path. We're just going to follow that, pass right through and hopefully I'll grab it. Nope, I still didn't manage to hit it, but yep, that's a secret way path through this level here. Yeah, another fairly simple water level. Again, I wanted to keep things palatable for newcomers, but again, give players who know what they're doing a bit of a reward here. Right, this is our third level. This is where I started to try to theme my levels a bit more. I wanted to, yeah, I started coming up with some weird ideas for, not quite a story. Oh, actually no. What happened was we go down? No, it's exactly what you expect. I don't know what you're expecting. So yeah, I think with this one I came up with the name first before I came up with anything else. And oh no, you're not going that way. You gotta go back through. I think with this one I came up with the name and then I sort of decided to come up with the idea of having 8 different airships. I felt by this point I hadn't used the airship theme yet and I really wanted to do something that made use of it. But again, like all my other levels, I wanted it to I wanted to move the difficulty up a bit, but I still wanted to keep it fairly easily beatable by pretty much anyone. So wide platforms, Only a few new types of enemies here. Again, making use of some of the skills and abilities that they picked up from previous levels. And oh, there's another new enemy there. We're just gonna pop our way through. Oh, so the actually doesn't overwrite the amoeba mushroom, huh? Okay, I'd completely forgotten about that. Okay. Again, not too difficult. Wanted to keep it fairly simple, but I wanted to I generally try to stick with the rule of 3. So I wanted to introduce a concept, add a wrinkle to it, and then challenge the player by bringing everything together. And then we get finally, yep. Oh my god, I got it this time. Now, I was quite proud of the speedrun path through that level, actually. I thought it was really quite clever, so I think we're just going to show that one. Okay, so this is the intended pathway for those who really know what they're doing, and I wanted to show you how you can get this level really, really quickly. So far it looks much the same. It's not too different, just with more optimized movement. So we're just gonna pop our way through, get through this fairly quickly, and here's where things are gonna start to deviate a bit. We're not gonna go that way, we're gonna go up and over! And then, oof, just reached it. We're gonna keep going, up. Oh, no, I think I missed that one. Gotta go back. Here we go. Yeah, that's right, it's supposed to stick to the top here. Oh, no. Okay, let's try it again. We'll get it. Come on. That's it. We're gonna go up and nice. That's it. That's it. You stick to the top path and you can jump over most of the level here. Yeah. So, and that's the second level. If you go down that bottom path at the bottom and you drop off down the hole, you can find a secret one-up mushroom there. But yeah, that's generally the idea I had in my levels. So I did want to ratchet up the difficulty and complexity slowly over time, but I really wanted to reward the players who really knew what they were doing, and I really wanted to try and put as much depth into these levels as possible. Right, let's go on to the second castle level here. And again, it's not there's a bit of a callback at the start here to the last castle here, but generally it's fairly in keeping with the design of a typical Mario Bros. 1 castle level, really. And again, I wanted to make more use of these two platforms, but I wanted to give players who wanted to explore a bit more, another bit of a reward there. And there's a quick way of getting yourself up and over. You can skip past this bit here. There's a little fateful amoeba mushroom. Don't think we really make use of it here, but I wanted to hide one of those in each of the different levels here because I really like the modern Mario amiibo costume here. Okay, it's all keeping fairly simple. Oh, actually, oh no, there was a reward for that. I totally forgot, and there's a one-up mushroom. Yeah, I really like that. I really like the amiibo mushroom idea, and I really want to make more use of it. But yeah, not too complex, but if you know what you're doing, you can get through this fairly quickly. And I always thought that was just a neat idea to have at the end there, and I really wanted to find a way of making use of that. Okay, that's World 2. So moving on to World 3, here's Mario Bros. 3. And here's where I really started to play a bit more with the theming ideas here. But again, it still sticks with the same idea where it's easily beatable by people who are new to Mario, but if you want to look into it a bit more and you want to get a bit more out of it, you want to find all the secrets and you really want to explore, then there's much more to it if you want to. So here I came up with the idea of having a black and white theme, so I really wanted to have just black and white enemies. If you look really closely here, you can actually notice there's actually an Akutu's cloud here, hidden amongst the others. I really like the idea of trying to reward players who are observant, those who notice the little secrets, the little bits that are out of place. There's a bit of music there as a reward, and a bit of colour for those who know what they're doing. And if you follow your way around through, I think there's actually a secret pathway to the end there, if I remember right. But we're not going to go that way this way. I'm going to show you the rest of the level here. Oh, that's why you should not jump on top of those. and you're rewarded with a bit of an escape and a bit of colour at the end here. Oh, yep, there's a secret doorway. That way it takes you straight to the end, so if you want to speed through the level quite quickly, that's the fastest way of getting through. Yeah, so that's the first level of 3. And then from there, I then decided to switch from going from black and white to making a level that's all about spikes here. If you notice, the beginning here is awfully familiar. Both of them are based off the start of the first level, Mario Brothers 3, but then I wanted to introduce something's not quite right here. Something's a bit off, and then all of a sudden the whole level was suddenly full of spikes here. Now, there's actually a really cool speedrun strat I built into this level here, but it's incredibly difficult, and I'm not going to be able to show it off because I just can't pull this one off again. But if you let that spiny at the start actually fall off towards the left, it will then bounce off the wall, come back, and then if you wait for a little bit, you can actually run and jump on it, and if you do, you'll land on a platform which you can then run your way through the bottom path to get to the end of the level even more quickly. Yeah, so you can see those coins there. You can only get across that way if you grab the star that's along the lower route. But alas, I'm just not good enough to pull that. Oh, or am I? Let's give it a go anyway. I was really proud of this one, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. Oh, come on, we can do this. Let's give it a go. Right, we'll just let that go off to the left. Come back. Oh, can I make this? No, not quite. No, I don't think I'll try that one again. But yeah, you jump off that, you bounce off that, and then you keep going across this lower path, you get yourself a star, and you just rush through the level as quickly as possible. And that's the idea. But you'd only be able to do it if you're really super good. Now, this is one of my favourite levels. I really wanted to... For this one, I wanted to design a level all around jump scares. I don't know how I came up with the idea of doing jump scares, but I just really like that. I'm amazed that works. I still have no idea how the hell that works, but I was so happy when I got it working. So yeah, I wanted to design a really kind of spooky jump scare level. No, the poor mushroom. And I really wanted to try and... I always loved the puzzle, the kind of ghost house levels in Mario. Where the hell did that... Oh yeah, that P block actually falls completely at random. I think, if I remember right, I actually managed to use a lacquer to do that, and it would throw the P block, but the P block would come completely at random. It's not on a set cycle, so I actually have no idea when that would appear. And then we suddenly have things going very wrong. Something's definitely not right here. Yeah, this level suddenly became really messed up. I really wanted to try and make it feel kind of spooky in a funny way. We're just gonna follow the advice of those. No, we're not. Of course, because it's obviously a trap. Oh dear. But yeah, and then well, I suppose I decided to put in a reward for the players who decided to be a bit rebellious. But I always thought it would be funny to have the idea of having the obvious path pointing out to you and it actually being correct. So we're going to move into the second part of the level here, and we have another set of rooms. Now, there might be a few more jump scares behind here. Quite literally, boo! Okay, and then we're going to go to the left door. Let's see if this is the right one. I don't know why, I don't know how I came up with the idea of having a jump scare one up, but I'm so glad I did. And let's see what's through this scary door. Boo! But one of these but where can we go? We can't go through that door. So let's try and go back through here and see what happens. Maybe there's something we missed. No, there definitely doesn't seem to be something here. That just takes us back out. No, the real way you get through this is by facing your fears. You hold on. Yes! And you get through. Yeah, it's the dry bones there. It works on a timer. And we're just going to go through this door. And we're going to get ourselves through the level. Congratulations. But yeah, again from World 3 is really about theming, and I came up with just the basic concept before coming up with level. Now there's a really cool secret in this level which I really want to show you, so I'm going to skip ahead. We're going to go back through this bit here. Now I think I learned of this trick. I think it was Cube who actually first did this from what I remember, and I really wanted to make use of it, but I actually hid if you see the arrow, if you go back down the same pipe, it actually takes you to a completely different area. And here, I actually did something crazy. I did something really, really mad. So what I did is I actually set up a separate account on Mario Maker and used it to create a secret level, which only people who'd ever find this room would ever have access to. And those blocks there actually spell out the level code for that level, which I did on the other account. So hardly anyone would ever find this, so count yourself lucky you get to see it. But if you type in that level code into Mario Maker, it will actually open up a secret level. The level itself is nothing to write home about. It's pretty much just a victory lap with loads of stars and enemies to just run through. But really, I just really like the idea of coming up with a secret level for those who really search every nook and cranny of it. And yeah, so that's level 3. Oh yeah, no, I don't seem to have it stored here. That's on the other account. So now this one's a really cool one. I came up with the idea of having, for this boss level, my main concept with it is that I actually wanted to have more than one boss. So here, there's actually 3 bosses you can fight. Depending on how good you are, it determines which boss you end up with. So we're going to start by taking the bottom path here. If you look closely on the bottom, you'll notice that all of the markings have a Bowser Jr. So the boss that you end up fighting is indicated by the marking that I used on the floor here. So if you go through the basic path, you can't run. You're not that. You're fairly new to Mario Maker. You get the easy boss. So it's fairly standard. It's a Bowser Jr. But it's not just a Bowser Jr. Because what you actually need to do is get that P block here, and you can't reach it. There's no way you can reach it. So really, this is more of a survival challenge because that Koopa at the top there is going to walk over and he's going to land on it. So the real boss isn't really Bowser Jr. here, but really it's a survival challenge. So it's fairly simple, really. If you're observant, you know what you're doing. And there's a bit of a tease of what you could have gotten if you went through the other path there. So it's there to try and entice the player to go, hey, look, you missed this. Go back and play through the level and experience the rest of it. So that's what we're going to do now. So with the second boss here, generally I would think that most players who know what they're doing with Mario Maker will find this one. But I really like this boss that I came up with. I thought it was really creative. If you are familiar with Mario Bros. 3, you'll probably be quite familiar with the Bowser at the end of that game. But I wanted to put a unique twist on it, and I really wanted to make a Mario boss that hadn't existed before, and I really wanted to do something unique with it. Now, if you look closely, you can see there's a path you get upwards there, and there is a statue of normal Bowser up there to try and indicate that, yes, this is the harder path. So if you go up here, you can then go through this little secret area. I really liked the idea of having just wall jumping spinies. I thought it was really funny, and I thought it was a bit challenging to get through without getting hit, which I can't seem to do here. And whoa, suddenly a fire bar, you've got to be careful here. But it's not massively difficult, but you're not going to get here unless you have some skills. The boss itself, however, is a different matter. This is quite challenging. I remember a friend of mine was playing through this level, and he was live streaming himself playing this. It was such a fun time. I really wanted him to... I watched him play through it. It took him like 3 hours to beat it, but he was absolutely dead set determined on doing it, and it was absolutely hilarious to watch it from start to finish. It was amazing. He just refused to give up. So the basic idea behind this is the Mario Maker 3 boss with a bit of a twist. I'm sure you've probably worked it out by now, but your ultimate goal is to try to get him to get to the very bottom of those donut blocks and get him to land on top of the P switches. But in order to do that, what you've got to do is you've got to create a hole for him to jump into. And the only way you can do that is by standing on the donut blocks. If you're clever, you can make him jump through it. So we're just going to try and work our way through this and show you. It's not too hard, but I came up with this idea. I was really proud of it. I thought it was just such an interesting way of reinventing an old boss. Oof. Oh, that was way too close. Yeah, but pretty simple. He'll smash through those blocks and you'll get to the P switches. I did it that way to stop players from cheating their way through. So yeah, the only way you can do it is to get Bowser to jump on it. I thought it was a neat way of reinventing an old boss. We're nearly there now. If we could just get him to get this last bit. It's actually a bit easier on the last bit than it is earlier on. And we'll just get ourselves through. Nice little reward there. Oh yes, that's a one-up mushroom, and you can only get that if you manage to get through the whole thing without losing your mushroom. So a bit of another reward for the players who are especially good at playing through the game. I'd probably never be able to do that ever again though, because it's way too hard to get through without getting hit, but it's just a little extra reward. Now, let's skip ahead and let's show you the ultimate path. This is the most difficult way of getting through. Oh yeah, that's where the other one-up is. But yeah, this is where it gets really difficult. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this first time. I don't think I will. Oh, and yes! Oh my god, I got it! There's the triple Bowser. That's it. Let's go through this. Oh, yes! Oh, can I get through? No! Oh, I was so close. But yes, I love Cannon Bowser. Right, let's just get through that. Whew, that took a lot of attempts. Okay, this time we're going to get through it. I really wanted to show you guys that if you are good enough, it is actually possible to run underneath him and skip past the first stage of the fight there. Because normally you have to wait for him to jump over you to get underneath him. But if you are quick enough, it is actually possible to go right through him at the start. Oh, yes! Now the idea is you need to try and get those bombs and use them to break your way through. And then get to the hammer. Oh, no! Yeah, I don't think I can do this one again. Oh god, it took me like 12 attempts to get through. No, I'm not doing that again. But you get the idea. You basically have to be a god at this game in order to be able to do that. Yeah, that's World 3. Now, on to the last world I ended up being able to make. This is World 4, and we move on to Super Mario World. And yeah, here's where I start to introduce some more of the Mario World mechanics. Mainly, I really wanted to focus on being able to hold and throw things up and down, because that's one of the big things that Mario World introduced. So here I actually explain to the player how to actually throw upwards, and if you do manage to do it, you do get yourself a mushroom. One of the biggest challenges with this was trying to accommodate for all the different control styles with this game, because I realised that people who'd be playing for Wii Remote wouldn't have an R button. They'd have to be able to shake. Yeah, so here is one of the secret pathways through. Let's see if we can get ourselves up. Oh god, I think I might have just messed this one up. Oh god, I think I might have just have to skip through this. Yeah, so it's really all about throwing upwards, trying to teach the player how to use this basic ability, because you're going to need it throughout the rest of the world here. Oh yeah, there's a secret pathway through. Oh god, no, 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 no. Oh, flipping out. No, I forgot you're supposed to actually... No, that's not how you do that. Okay, right, and to get through this level, you have to make use of... Yeah, again, I followed the rule of 3, so... teach the player the basic mechanic, add a wrinkle, then test them with everything they've learned. Simple. Simple. Yeah. There's a lot of secrets to this level. Lots of hidden different little alcoves. I actually hid in a warp zone as well. I didn't end up being able to get round to making all 8 levels, but originally I actually hid a warp zone to World 7, but I'm not going to waste your time with that. I'm going to move on to the next level. So this is 4-2. Again, this follows the same kind of a theming idea. Yeah, so lots of spikes this time, but mainly spiky enemies. I hadn't actually done an auto-scrolling level yet before, and I thought this is something which I should introduce at this point. But I wanted to make it into something that would be quite interesting. And really, this made designing the speedrun part of it quite a challenge, because obviously there's not much you can do to speed up an auto-scroller. Oh crap. Okay, right, let's try that one again. I'm going to actually show you the intended speedrun pathway through this, because I thought it was quite interesting. But I found a way to let a player speed through an auto-scrolling level. Let's just see if we can get ourselves through here. The level itself is actually fairly simple. I introduced the idea of the spinies, the ones that are able to shoot, and then we increase the complexity as we go through later on, introduce winding paths and such. But anyway, here's the intended secret path. So we're going to go up, and do you see that bit? Oh no! Okay, right, fine. I'll show you the other pathway. There's actually two paths through. The speedrun specific path requires you to get through that first bit, but it's really difficult, really tight. There is actually another pathway through, which really is more for the veteran players, but ones who aren't necessarily incredible at the game. But yeah, again here I reward the player for remembering how to throw objects upwards, and if you do, you get rewarded with a pathway to the top which has no auto-scrolling. So we're just going to run our way through. It's still got spikes though, so you got to watch out. Ah, we weren't quite quick enough. Yeah, never mind. So we're going to get our way through. We're going to just jump our way through all the spikes. Let's try not to get spiked. Oh wait, you can jump on it. Yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah, that one you have to be ridiculously fast. Oh, sorry, giant spiny. Yeah, that's really the second level well for in a nutshell. I really like that one. It's a lot of fun. I don't usually enjoy auto-scrolling levels, but I was quite happy with how that one turned out. Now this one I just went completely mad. I decided to come up with... This is definitely one where I came up with the name and the theme before the level itself. Actually, when I originally made this level, I actually came up with a little story that went along with it. I used to use the Miiverse posts to have little messages part way through, but unfortunately, of course, Miiverse is gone now, so you're not going to see that here. But I remember it was a really funny drawing I did where I basically had Mario like headbutting an airship, which I thought was really funny. Again, I wanted to make use of another auto-scrolling level in a bit of an interesting way, but here I really wanted to just really go all out with the idea of literally destroying the airship to get through it. I came up with the idea of the name and I really just went to town on it. But again, even here, designing the speedrun strategy for this level was really tricky, but I came up with a really interesting idea. I'm probably not going to be able to pull it off here, but you are supposed to use that to get through. If you look at the top there, there's actually a set of blocks you can get through. If you're quick enough and you're good enough, you can actually destroy those, and then you can jump over to the other path, the second part of the level there. But we're just going to go the normal way here. So here I introduce Yoshi, and I tell the player how to eat. I think that's Y or 2. Again, I had to make use of the different control schemes. So here's an example showing them how to eat. And then you can't eat bomb there, but what you can eat is the fire. And guess what happens when you set that thing on fire? Now remember that one, because you might need to use that later on. Oh, hang on. I think I remember there being a secret down here. Ah, yes. Yep, that's one of the one-ups there. Yeah, that's a particularly mean one, but I thought it was quite clever. I was quite happy with that one. Yeah, so we're back on the normal path. This is still a little bit behind the bit you would be if you took the speedrun path. Just shows how much time you can save. There's another pathway you can go through to speed up if you go along that way, but I'm not good enough to do that anymore. Oh yeah, and there's the door there. Oh, damn, I lost my Yoshi. But yeah, if you can get through that door, that will take you pretty much to the end of the level, but you have to be incredibly precise and quick to do that. Which I'm definitely not anymore. Definitely couldn't do that anymore. Yeah, there's lots of little bits just under the path where you can break as well. And oh, if you break that, I think that takes you to a 1-up. But yeah, it really rewards you for being as destructive as possible. It's quite cathartic. Oh yeah, and I think there's another pathway up there. If you jump off the Yoshi at the top there, if I remember. Oh, we got the 1-up anyway. Oh no. Yeah, I think if you jump up there, you can get the 1-up. But we're gonna go straight through. Yes. You need to go back. You need to go and get the fire from earlier. Again, I tried to. I really wanted to reward players for being observant with what they see. And this is another example of that here. So again, we have a similar setup to before. So just like before, you grab the Yoshi, you grab the fire, but this time the player has to figure out they can take the fire with them. And then you go on to the step where it tells you to, let it loose, you blow up the main reactor, and we start our Metroid style escape sequence. Let's go, 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 go! We're gonna blow this thing up! Because you will die if you don't hurry! And here's the alternate little bit of catharsis as we just destroy the last bit of that, and we win! That was a fun level to design. I had loads and loads of fun just coming up with different ways of being as destructive as possible. But when I came up with the story for that, I actually decided to make my next level a follow-up. Now, you're not going to get a lot of this because unfortunately Miiverse is closed, so you've lost a lot of the story elements. But the idea is that the remnants of the old airship fell down and crashed into Bowser's castle. He actually was quite smart here because for once, for like the first time ever, Bowser decided to lock the door of his castle, so there's no way to get in. It would have been flawless. It would have been perfect, were it not for the fact his airship just smashed into it and opened up a pipe. What a shame, Bowser. What a shame. But yeah, off to the left, I tried to make it look dilapidated and broken to show that that the airship had crashed into it, and that all of the bombs that were in his airship have now invaded his castle and are blowing holes, literally blowing holes open for you to get through. So you've still got to make use of those same skills that you learnt before. You've got to learn how to carry things in your mouth. You've got to learn how to make use of bombs to blow up your way through. You've got to learn how to pick up and throw things. There's a locked door from the outside that you were otherwise unable to get through. If you had the bomb, you could actually throw it upwards to get that 1-up there. Again, I wanted to reward players for remembering and learning what they had seen before in previous levels. There's some more of the fine spinies from level 4 too. Again, making use of some of the previous lessons they've learnt. If I remember right, there's a secret pathway somewhere around here. I can't quite remember this level all that well. Yeah, I think you can use the power block to get through that and you get a 1-up, but we're going to use the power block for something a bit more clever than that. We're going to use it to speedrun through this level. Now this one's a little different because there isn't really much of a secret pathway through apart from the one I mentioned earlier. Oh yeah, this is the last bit of the airship. If you look closely, you'll see that the bombs are still like seeping through into the pipe. And there's a bit of a story hint that I had here, which kind of like was meant to highlight that, but obviously you've lost that now because of no Miiverse. So the bombs are seeping through into Bowser's throne room here, and everything would be perfect. He would have you pretty much screwed, but unfortunately for him, you got those bombs there. Right, now we're going to be clever. Oh, damn, give me my Yoshi. No, we're going to be clever, and we're going to cheat our way through this boss fight using the power block. That was another intended speedrun strat. And then we have ourselves a final little reward. Hey, I got the 1-up at the end. Well, I'm happy with that. And yeah, so that's the end of the normal levels I managed to make in Mario Maker. I always intended to follow this up with another set of 4 levels, but unfortunately I never got round to doing that. But I was quite happy with the note I ended on, really. Yeah, so I really wanted to try and make my levels as multifaceted as possible and really try and stretch the limits of what you could do in Mario Maker. But I always wanted to design these levels in a way that anyone could complete them, anyone can enjoy them, but those who've put the time in, who know their way around Mario Maker, would get more out of it, and those who are really into speedrunning would also get something out of it and challenging themselves with trying to complete the levels as quick as possible and find the secret fastest way through. That's it, really. Yeah, so join me for my next video where I'm going to go over some of the more outlandish courses I designed. So these ones are not bound by any of the previous limitations. I'll see you then.